After the last few weeks of the championships have both been turned on their heads with the challenge after challenge on the classic tracks. And as we head to the halfway house of the season, the drivers face a familiar challenge as the series heads to the streets. But who will be crowned the king or queen of the streets? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 6 of the IMSA iRacing Vintage series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hello everyone, I am Craig King, and with me in the booth is Reese Gardner. Our director is the man with the yellow monitor, Daniel Costello, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Known nowadays as the double-header with IMSA and IndyCar, these cars never took to the track in the 80s despite the fans wanting it. So to find out what makes this track a fan favourite, let's head on down to the track guide.
Welcome to Long Beach. Nestled into the south side of Los Angeles and running alongside the Pacific Ocean, this street circuit has made the port area world famous. Both Formula One and IndyCar have called this 2-mile, 11-turn circuit home. Winning here has become a prestige worth boasting about among open-wheel pilots. Indeed, the winners list includes the likes of Lauda, Andretti, Unser, Montoya, Power, and many other legendary names in racing. Much like its European sister over in Monaco, it's short, tight, and punishing. But unlike Monte Carlo, this circuit emerged from a rundown piece of California coast to grow into the glamorous location it is today. Down into Turn 1 at the end of Shoreline Drive is where the majority of overtakes tend to be made. But sneaky passes can also pop up in places like 6 on the way into Pine Avenue, or Turn 9 at the end of Seaside Way. There's also 2 distinctive landmarks notorious for causing track blockages. The fountain section, with all its beauty, is a single-file affair save for the first lap. And the hairpin has been a staple here, even though it's changed locations a few times. In fact, that last hairpin not only includes the dangers of getting tangled with another car, but the important nature of getting the best exit you can to keep your rival from having a chance to pass you into the first corner. It feels appropriate that California's signature street track is a hop, skip, and a jump away from the beach. But while others might be trying to attack the surf, our drivers today will be attacking the corners instead.
Well, that was a quick look at what this track offers for many series. But Reese, what are we going to see today with these classic cars from the 80s?
We're going to be seeing a lot of jumping around for sure. You know, both the Nissan GTP ZX Turbo and the Audi GTO, very firmly suspended cars, which around this circuit, public roads, is certainly a recipe for disaster through the corners. Got to be very careful around a lot of these turns, especially with how much power these cars generate. I was clicking through cars in qualifying and already seeing a couple of Audis spinning out of the corners, which is interesting because they're four-wheel drive. But yeah, this circuit is a classic for a reason, isn't it, Craig? We've got 11 turns, just under 2 miles in length, very twisty indeed, which means the multi-class action is going to be tense to say the least.
It's going to be tense to say the least. Do not be surprised to see a single file start in the GTOs when they come to the hairpin at the end of the track. But let's go and look at the championship standings, starting with the GTPs and Javier Del Olmo leads with Seamus Power in second. Now, what's interesting about that is Javier hasn't had a podium all season. That just goes to show the consistency that man has had this season in a renaissance after a bad couple seasons that we were talking about. Seamus Power there. Robert Nash, 3 podiums from 4 races. And Brendan Lim's just bringing it up there. There's only been a handful of winners in the first 5 races this season. Still just there at the back. You see Matthew Cockerham making his way up, and Farron Grau as well. Dylan Freckleton and Lance Simon are rounding out the rest of the top 10. But Reese, those GTOs, they look very interesting.
Yeah, they certainly do. We move on to the GTO driver standings now, and Arturas Kundelis is the one on the top of the standings. He's got quite a gap to Mickey Friesen as well, but it is so close behind, isn't it? Andreas Schuster only 5 points back. You go to another 6 points to Doug Cloud. Yeah, honestly, going all the way through the top 10 in these GTOs, if you're fighting around the middle of the top 10, you could stand to gain some huge points in this round.
Yep, and that's what they will aim to do as we're at round 6 of the championship. And as we were pointing out, we're back to 40 minutes this week, and as per usual, it is open setups and no spare car, which, if you know the old Jolyon Palmer meme, you've got to be alert on a street circuit. That's what they're going to have to do today. There is a drive-through penalty at 17x, disqualification at 25. I cannot see anybody hitting those numbers because the moment you hit a wall here, you're in danger. And this is the first time they've come to the streets with the new damage model. As there you see the high-rise and the buildings, and you don't see our little booth up there, but we are around. Don't worry. It is 72 Fahrenheit, the track temp. 22 Celsius, if that's in the other language. And we already have some of the cars finishing their qualifying. The GTPs just finishing up at the moment. The GTOs as well on their way. We're starting to see it. Hugh Haycox leads them down. And this is Robert Nash coming to the slowest part of the track, I feel, Reese.
Yes, slowest to say the least. The final hairpin, I mean, you can see that the number 7 GTP is rapid through there as expected, but it is the slowest corner on the circuit. You're going down to about 40 k's an hour, and that's in some of the faster cars on the service. The Audis are going to be lumbering around it as Robert goes to P3 with that lap. Very nice indeed, only 0.4 of a second off pole.
Only 0.4 of a second, a really good second lap for him. Puts him up into that surprise third. This is the man who could have been leading the championship, but 3 bad results have not gone his way. He had 2 podiums to start the season, not gone his way ever since. Mickey Friesen, just look at the speed difference now as they go hard into the Firestone turn at turn 9. Indy left here at 10, using all the curb, and we talked about 40k for the GTPs. How about 40k as well for the GTOs? Mickey Friesen's going to come down now using all that power. He's going to cross the line very shortly. It's a 16.732. It's not enough for pole. Van Hixie leads, but you'd think, Reese, with 4-wheel drive, you're not getting a lot of traction out of that hairpin.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say the opposite. You're getting a ton of traction. It's just a matter of putting the power down with how much power that Audi produces. Well over 600 horsepower. I think a lot of the drivers will be going for a more rearward biased 4-wheel drive setup around a circuit like this because you need that rotation coming into the corners. Doug Cloud, meanwhile, he hasn't set a time in qualifying. He's just coming to the final sector now. Let's see how he goes putting on the power out of this hairpin. It's really interesting to see the Audis go around here. They're particularly wide cars, these GTOs, and the track gets mighty narrow in places. So making a pass is going to be difficult.
Yeah, going to be difficult. He took a wider line around that hairpin. He'll come across the line. Not a very good lap. That was his second lap. He knows it's not the best. He knows as well, as we see on the onboard. Do not forget, folks, if you are in one of these races with us on the GSRC, feel free to share your cockpit cameras as well, and we can see all your action while you're racing. And it's great to see a lot of the drivers with how they go. Dylan Freckleton, one of the last men out there on the track with the very interesting retro 80s color palette here as we're in Long Beach. He comes across. I think he's going to be just on time. Got the camo. It's TVR there as well. Don't know if he's going to make it, but here we go. Just around once. Yeah. Will he make it? He will make it. 34 seconds. Last man to come across. Comes to the hairpin. Just look at the speed difference he's doing. Full lock around there as well. A little bit of a slide. Whoa. Just a little bit of a slide, but he comes across the line there. But that's a scary one, Reese, because you get too much on the front and you're going to lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. The vaporwave vibes of that livery doing nothing to chill the atmosphere in the cockpit there for Freckleton, though he does gain 2 positions on that lap. It's just amazing the power that is produced by these cars, and you can't forget they're turbos as well, 80s turbos. This is before anti-lag, so you're going to have a ton of turbo lag here coming out of that hairpin. You're going to see some number 11s being laid down.
Yep, and speaking of 11s, let's go to the grid because Hugh Haycock leads them off today with Javier Del Olmo in second, and then it'll be Robert Nash in third, followed by Fabian Jungbluf in fourth with Brendan Lim fifth, and Dustin Hiroda comes back in sixth. Then Shady Ahmed also comes back for seventh, Aitor Sintez Galindo in eighth. Then it's Dylan Freckleton in ninth and Seamus Power in 10th to round out the first page, with AJ Roper starting the second page in 11th. Kevin Parrish will be 12th. And we have Sir Jorn Helgerson in 13th. Matthew Cockerham will be 14th. David Finch will be 15th. Peter Ellerson will be 16th, with Tom Pritchard 17th. Michael Davis 18th, the last of the time qualifiers, with Jack David Spickett, Stephen Jones, Andres Felipes Diaz, David Halles Quiris, and Thomas Goodson rounding out the GTPs. And we go to the GTOs with Reese.
We do indeed. Joram Van Hikse is going to start on pole position in the Audis. Arturas Kundelis is going to start on the front row with him. Mickey Friesen and Andreas Schuster on row 2. Nicholas Mukanos and Noel Luneberg, 5th and 6th. Juhani Kamanen and Cam Porter, 7th and 8th. Doug Cloud, we were on board with him going into 9th spot alongside Roman Bello to round out the top 10. Then on row 6, we've got Ian Haycox and Mark Gamek with Torben Pollock and Aidan Kirk on row 7. Luis Rusi and Carlos Fonseca, 15th and 16th. And then we have Elan Lozano, Pablo Rangel, and Austin Powell rounding out the field here. Rusi was the last driver to set a qualifying time in the Audis there in 38th position overall. What a field we've got here, Craig. 23 GTPs, 19 GTOs. When the GTPs come around to lap them, that's where the drama's really going to start.
That's where the drama's going to start, and we start to question, where do you make the overtakes here? Well, there's lots of long straights, and the power these GTPs have is quite strong. As we talked about that turbo with no lag, they'll be able to get through on the exit of some of these corners, but don't expect to see overtakes mid-corner here. Also, we talked about the hairpin turn 11. As you see, they start to take it single file. It is a danger corner for all the drivers. If I see a multi-class incident there, Reese, I think I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. There's so many locations around this circuit where it's tough to make passes in the same class, let alone passes on a slower class. So the GTPs are going to have to be super careful, and the GTOs will have to be predictable. It's that typical multi-class atmosphere. But through the hairpin we come, Craig. We are about to get this race started.
Yep, 40 minutes of racing about to get ready as the pace car heads in. And Hugh Haycock will lead them off and will make them wait, and then gets a fantastic jump. We go green at Long Beach. Javier Del Olmo will have to defend against Robert Nash, and he may have to give up that position right away. Fabian Jungbluf looking as well behind. He's got to try look for this opportunity. Not going to get it. Can Del Olmo hold this around the outside? He doesn't. He slides. He's in the wall straight away. Everyone's going to be prepared for this, for a pile-up and a slowdown. What about the GTOs?
Oh, well, it was a good start from Joram Van Hikse, but that number 11 is still stopped there at the exit of turn 1. The GTOs are about to come up on him, so we'll have to keep an eye out here to see if Del Olmo is able to get going, and he's just able to get it turned around by the time the GTOs come through. So Arturas Kundelis is still following Joram Van Hikse there for the GTO lead. It was a nice, orderly start in the Audis.
Nice orderly start. If only that could be said for the GTPs. You've got to feel sorry for Javier there, trying to make that work, and it's almost like the Jungbluf, tried to make that work for him. But there is Nash, as he's now P2. He is hunting down a bit of some side-by-side in the backfield. Tom Pritchard just having a bit of a bad start to the race as he comes down in the Calsonic. And there you see we got Anderson as well, trying to make the positions up. Quelles in 18th has made up full position, an early big-name getter here as Pritchard goes wide. But side-by-side, Hiroda is going to get this battle going. And it looks like we could see an overtake here with him as he gets past Brendan Lim. Very tough to make a move there at all.
Yeah, but a nice assertive pass. So Dustin Hiroda up into 4th spot as another side-by-side run through turn 1 there. Oh, that was Michael Davis, I think, getting into the wall there as JDS got past him. And oh dear, he's having further issues, is Michael. Oh, that car, I think, is a bit damaged now. Don't forget, the former new damage model is now just the damage model. All cars have it, and so those minor hits to the walls are a lot worse than they used to be.
Yep, no meatball flag given to him yet. Javi Duomo, of course, did get a meatball flag, losing his wing. Davis is a little bit slow there. He's trying to get the composure back, but you can see that wing is not straight, almost hitting the tire barrier there. At turn 8, we saw Alexander Rossi hit that in practice IRL, but in the GTOs, we come back to Noel Lundberg as he continues to look for opportunities, early opportunities with a double toe down Seaside Way. Not gonna happen. However, I wouldn't be surprised if this is them just being a little bit patient at the moment, Reese, to just wait for the right opportunity.
Yeah, you have to get into a rhythm in these cars before you can think about making moves. Obviously, there's a lot of power at hand, and it's very tempting to go for those big moves early on, but around a circuit like this, you know, it's public roads. There's not much grip available for the drivers. As, whoa, dearie me, that was a bit of a scrape of the wall there from a GTP having to find its way through the GTOs. We've got, unfortunately, 2 GTPs that are out now. Looks like David Galvez-Quintez. Oh, dear. Oh,
that's the leaders getting held up. There's a pile-up now at the fountain. There was a crash.
No.
Yeah, and more crashes here. There was a slow GTP coming out of turn 1 at Toyota. Then another slow one making a mistake at the fountain, and it's bunched everybody up. And for the second week in a row, the GTOs have been affected. I have seen one driver has been forced to tow, but that one incident, I now see 3 extra meatball flags. Doug Cloud, Roman Bello, Ellen Lorenzo, all of them being called into the pits to get some repairs.
Yeah, that was all started by Michael Davis, who we've already seen a lot of issues from on the first lap. Unfortunately, making contact with David Quilez there. That had already happened by the time the GTOs came through here, and it just caused a massive check-up. And the number 21 there of... that was Juhani Kamanen getting spun around there. So, that was a massive pile-up that we just saw. I mean, Long Beach gonna Long Beach, right?
Yeah. Well, multi-class give, multi-class take away. Just weren't expecting it like that all that early, as the GTPs haven't even hit the GTOs officially. They were drivers just struggling at the moment. Candelas now, he's battling on. We did see that battle as well with Lim, Ahmad, and Sintet Galindo. We'll get back to that later. These are the couple battles we're keeping our eyes on. Candelas trying to get past Van Hixie over the humps there at 5 into 6 into cap turn they go. Blind corner, downhill corner, so tough to make your opportunities here, and it's just also one of those that if you've got the multi-class, watch out for the switchback over, but down. Probably these 2 corners, Reef, the hardest corners on the track, even when you talk about the hairpin. I think these are the hardest corners.
Yeah, those corners up the back, they're, you know, super wide street that they traverse, and so you have to be very careful about your entry into both of the corners there, as JDS goes very close to hitting the wall out of the fountain section there. You noticed when we were, oh dear, oh, that's second place, Robert Nash, that spun around there, and it looks like Heroda and Jungbluth are going to come up on him, and he's going to lose second spot there coming into that turn. Oh, there's so much happening, I can't keep track of it. I was going to say, we saw Joram van Hixer with damage in the lead of the GTOs. He was involved in that pile-up with the GTPs as the GTO leaders came through, and oh no, there's been more! Even more! I think Aiden Kirk, one of the cars involved in that.
Yeah. Kirk just down having a little bit of damage. Robert Nash lost control on the throttle. Just what you were talking about there. He wasn't trying to put some 11s down. He was trying to put some zeros. He went from hero to zero pretty quickly. He's now back in 3rd position where he started. On that battle now with Heroda, Hugh Hayhawks now has a 9-second lead. And now for him, it's just a battle of navigating the traffic. He's on the back of the GTOs, but we'll keep on eyes with this because through they go into 4. down into 5 they go. Austin Powell is the GTO in front. A little bit of patience game now, and this is where it's going to just play in the head now for Robert Nash. Don't get too hot on the throttle coming through here. Blind corner, he's taking it easy this time, Reed. That's going to play a little bit of mind games in his head now, as self-spin has caused that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he just got on the power too hard, and I think he missed a gear, did Hiroda there. So, unfortunately, he's going to lose that spot there to Nash. He'll easily take the position coming into the corner there. Look at this three-way battle. Shadi Ahmad, Aitor Sintes Galindo, Brendan Lim, and Seamus Power involved in this 4-car fight. Shadi trying to hold on to the last position in the top 5 here, but every single time they get to that hairpin, I just wince, because you know that there's going to be some spinning up of the tires out of there.
On the 007 cam, and Brendan Lim also had a misshift when they were getting through some of the lap traffic, so he went from 5th down to 7th. He's at the back of this queue as Ahmad now trying to hold on, sliding the car through Toyota into the fountain. They haven't hit the traffic fully yet. The only GTP who's in the traffic is Hugh Haycox's. I believe Robert Nash will be hitting it now, and so will these guys as well. The GTO traffic is pretty spread out at the moment. They're in 3 packs at the moment, which in theory should be good for the GTPs, because they don't have to worry too much as Hiroda comes by the first pack of 3. Yeah, having these packs instead of them all together, Reed, that's going to just help the flow and the rhythm for these GTPs.
Yeah, it'll give them an opportunity to have a rest, won't it? Because, I mean, if you were working your way through GTOs at every single corner like these guys are now, God, it would be ridiculous. I mean, I've driven prototypes in the past. You know, the car with the most mileage in iRacing for me is the HPD, so I know what it's like having to work your way through traffic in a prototype, and I would not want to be in these guys' position. Around a track like this? No.
I've done it. I don't want to do it again. We'll leave it like that. It is a big challenge for some of these drivers, as Fabian Youngblood losing some time just because of that hairpin. Yes, Dustin Hiroda in front of him got held up there, but unfortunately he just could not get on the throttle fast enough with Youngblood, and now he's having to pay the price, and also does have some damage. We'll get back to other battles as well. Dylan Freckleton almost having a little bit of a moment with Seamus Power, and that's Kevin Parrish in the background as well. Seamus, really good driver on these small technical tracks that we saw the last 2 weeks. Not happening for him at the moment as he's trying to pull away from Freckleton, and that's a Synthwave, Neon Wave, 80 style retro livery. He is trying to give a run for his money for Power.
Yeah, the problem for the GTPs is that it all depends on where you come up to the GTOs, right? If you're coming up to a pack in turn 1, speaking of turn 1, Arturas Gundelis round the outside. Can he do it? Oh, easy does it.
Easy does it. That was almost like a Javier Del Olmo moment, and they're all bunched up again. You've got Van Hixie, Kundelis, Friesen, Schuster, McCanos, Noel Lundberg is well involved in this. That's the top 6 altogether. The rest of the field, 9 seconds behind them. This is going to be tough. We talked about the groups. There is the lead GTP behind him in Hugh Haycox. He's realizing he's going to have to take his time. He is so efficient in traffic, though. Even on a track like this, he's just going to try and make the moves. Almost goes into Schuster, though, and backs out the last moment. In fact, Schuster's in the wall. This is going to cause a bit of a bunch up at the backfield. Just one mistake there. Was he a little bit ambitious there, I reckon?
Yeah, probably. Wanted to get by them so as to not lose time, but the GTPs have so much power. You're often better off staying behind until the exit of the corner to get the run down the straight. The problem is, and this is the point I was going to make, is coming up to GTOs towards the fountain section, you're going to be stuck behind them for a good 10-15 seconds. So he needs to get these moves done as soon as possible. Big straight line speed for the leader. He'll clear them by the time he gets to turn 1.
Yeah, clears them as well, but he was spent 3 seconds slower than Robert Nash that time. That gap has come down. It doesn't sound efficient or sufficient at the moment, but it's gone from 9 seconds to 6 seconds, and now 5.5 seconds, just to go to show one moment in traffic can affect you. And Nash, he doesn't see that, but he can see he's almost seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, which is the first round of the traffic, and then there is a massive gap of free space, which is something the drivers have not seen the last few weeks with just how chaotic and small the track had been. He gets through the corner around the number 1 there at Noah Lundberg with no issues this time. He's almost at the light at the end of the tunnel there, Reese, and he's going to be so happy to see it.
Yes, he would have been hoping to clear both of them by the time he gets to the end of the corner, but it's not going to happen. He'll have to, well, okay, he'll go around the outside and up the inside into the hairpin. Well, we'll see if he can get it round the corner. Oh, it only just manages to do it. Lost 2 seconds into all of that traffic to Hugh Haycox, who now has a 7.6 second lead. It's looking pretty good for him at the moment, but you know, anything can happen. This is a great battle for 4th and 5th in the GTOs. Andreas Schuster trying his best to hold off as, oh dear, one of the GTPs just went off there in turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, the GTP coming out of the pits as well. Somebody getting some repairs done could not make it. Mechanos, he almost tried the over-under, and Hiroda, he knows, he realizes the situation. He wants to get by, and you can't blame him because he sees how far ahead the 2 in front are getting. He can't make it. Hiroda's going to get by, and this is holding up Mechanos. Mechanos is getting pinned back, but more battles still. These 3 are still stuck together. Youngblood, Ahmed, and Sintez Galindo all together. We haven't seen Shady Ahmed for a couple weeks, and the driver still pushing his way. More drivers hitting the tire barrier in the background, but this is going to affect Sintez Galindo as he's not going to get past the traffic. Can he make a move here around the outside to try and hold on? No, he can't. That's got to be so frustrating regardless of the track.
Yeah, oh man, every time they come through the hairpin, it's a car parkers. That's a pass there. Oh my God. You don't usually see passes like that happening into the hairpin, but Dylan Freckleton got it done on Seamus Power Parade.
Got it done, but did that compromise him on the exit? Yes, it did. Here comes Seamus Power. They're side by side. He has the inside for Toyota. He's going to take it with ease, but he is going to leave an opportunity. They're going to go side by side, almost touch it together. What a save from Seamus Power. Keeps it together. Fantastic battling by these 2.
Oh, that was great. They left just enough room and not an inch more. They could have done with an inch more, you could say, but man, that was really good driving from the both of them. They just managed to get it done. I don't know if Dylan Freckleton's going to be too happy with how that went down, though. He probably is feeling it in the car, and certainly Seamus Power is with the kind of damage that he's got to his right intake there.
Yeah, but the problem is as well, you've got to think about this for the moment. He made that overtake on the hairpin. It compromises exit. If that was the final lap, that would be okay. But doing it this early, it not helped him. And almost there, Seamus boxing himself in. But he could not get past Mechanos. He holds on now. Dylan's too far behind to make a move this time. In fact, held up on traffic. But that looked like a slide. And even more, these GTOs go around the hairpin faster than the GTP. They have to be very careful around there. And meanwhile, when we look elsewhere on the field, JDS was starting to make moves himself. He's just waiting for the opportunity. Nowhere to go. This corner just tightens up way too much for him.
Yeah, way too tight, especially on the exit. I mean, it does look like you have a lot of space, but from inside the car, it just doesn't work like that. You have to be millimeter perfect through this section of the circuit, and JDS, just like the driver in front of him, Kevin Parrish, having to hold off. And man, I've raced against Kevin Parrish in the past in the Ford Mustang. He is a mighty competitor, to say the least. I think JDS is going to have his work cut out from here, especially having to work his way through GTOs. He's getting held up there through the corner, and that will give Kevin Parrish a big advantage. The battle's still going on between Power and Freckleton, though.
Yeah, still going on. They're about to hit the lead too in the GTO, which is Van Hixie and Kundalis as well. Can they look for an opportunity beforehand? No. Let's look at the way they take these corners. 2 different chances, but a slide from Dylan, almost a midship from Dylan there. He's going to lose out here. He's going to have to just accept that he can't make the run this time. It almost looked like he was being a little bit too aggressive, and he's going to have to go for a late move on the leader of the GTO. Makes it work. No, he doesn't.
Oh, no. Oh, into the wall he goes, and that's a little precarious there, but he gets back going by the time the rest of the GTOs come through. Oh, that could have been much worse than it was, but still, that's got a sting there for Dylan.
Got a sting, but that's just the situation. Most of these corners on this track, the GTOs take the exit faster. That was one of them. He had to make the move to try and catch up to Seamus or risk losing 2 seconds. And he just could not get that line in. He went too hard, had to slow the car right down, could not work for him. And unfortunately, Dylan just having that mistake, it's just one of those things in multi-class racing. A little bit of as well, but side by side goes the GTO leaders. Nothing yet. All of a sudden, I think that hit from Van Hixie, Van Hixie hitting Dylan, that might have hurt him.
Yeah, well, Van Hixer, I think he missed a gear coming down the straight. He did get a bit of a hit, yes, but he missed a gear down the straight, and that's why they closed up. But you see just how... yeah, it was only a tiny hit. I think it might have messed up his rhythm a little bit, and that's why he missed the gear later on in the lap.
Yeah, and also he doesn't have a lot of time to react to that. You can look at it because there's not a lot of opportunity to realize that where is that car going. It's just one of those things you have to work out with multi-class. One of the things, it takes 2 to tango. It did feel a little bit they were off tempo there, but these two fully on tempo at the moment. Kundella's looking for a chance, can't find a chance. We're almost coming up to the halfway stage of the race. Where, Reese, does he look for an opportunity?
Yeah, that's exactly the question, isn't it? I think he'll have to rely on Van Hixer making a mistake, missing a gear like he did in this location last lap, or potentially a GTP getting crossed up with him. I think those are the only chances that Arturus is going to have for an easy move, but he'll be focusing for the most part on his exits, particularly from the hairpin, because the exit onto the longest flat-out section on the circuit, and if you can get a tiny bit of slipstream, if you manage to get up through the gears all right, you'll be able to make the move at turn 1. Looks like both of them getting pretty equal exits as it stands.
Yeah, pretty equal, and I don't know if that's going to allow much on the slipstream for Kundelas, but he's going to try. Dylan Freckleton's in the pits after that move, and you can see Van Hixie's gone to the left to defend this. Kundelas will have to try and do this around the outside. They're going to go side by side. They're going to hold on to this side by side, and into the fountain they go, and this is fantastic respect for both drivers, and Arturus decide, I cannot make it stick this time.
Oh, not this time, but yeah, you can definitely tell that those hits that Van Hixer's gained are affecting his speed down the straights. I think what he's trying to do here is make up as much time as he can in the twistier sections of the lap where the pace difference isn't as bad.
Yeah, meanwhile, we got other drivers who is affected by top speed with damage as well. And one of them's Fabian Jungbluff. Oh, no, that's not what we want to see. That's definitely not what we want to see. We go back to these, and that looked like a mistake there with a lap car. It was Austin Power. Manages to keep it all together. And they just got to be careful. More locking up from Van Hixie. He's driving hard. Track is only 75 Fahrenheit. More lap cars going by. Fabian Jungbluff getting that move done. That was what I was talking about. Damage on the car for Jungbluff just means he's unable to fight Ahmed. And Sintes Galindo will be right behind him.
Yeah, this is very tough in the GTPs. In fact, both of the lead cars in the pack carrying some damage here. So there's a lot of potential as, oh, there we go. Once again, Van Hixer having to defend. Can Kundelas get it done around the outside? He can. Oh, wow. It was only a matter of time, but still no less impressive.
The squeeze he had to do there, he made it set up that he was given the room from Van Hixie. He didn't force it, he got the room, and he just paid that off fantastically. Anytime you go around the outside of a corner to make an overtake, it's a fantastic move. Around turn 1 at Long Beach, it's just one of those you've just got to tip your cap to. And now, with the damage that Van Hixie has on that front, because it almost looks like he's doing his Elvis impression there with the teeth going up. Thank you very much. He's going around as he can. I don't think Van Hixie's going to have the speed to try and compete with this at the moment.
Yeah, I think you'll see it most notably down the front stretch, down Shoreline Drive, because, I mean, honestly, Van Hixie was driving the wheels off that car in the twistier sections of the lap, but you'll see down the straight, look, Kundelas is just driving away from him now.
Yeah, he's driving away. I don't think there's going to be a chance to make a move here. If Arturus can defend this lap, I think he's going to be all right for the moment. And I think that's what's going to happen. Mickey Friesen, though, they've got to keep their eyes on Mickey Friesen. All this battling, he's only a few tenths behind him. which is very interesting. I can report Fabian Youngblood, that damage is affecting him some more as he is down another position. And this is a battle for P4 now between Shady Ahmed and Aitor Sintet Galindo, with Youngblood just going to try the best he can to salvage what he can.
I've seen a massive incident just happen for P4 and 5 in GTO. Nicholas Mukanos has gotten involved with the GTP of Tom Pritchard, and Mukanos has lost all of his front bodywork. So he'll have to be nursing that car to the finish now.
Yeah, that's not what we want to see. It is just one of those. Again, GTP making the overtake, getting a bit slow out of turn 1. That's all she wrote, unfortunately, from Meccano. Some more issues with the GTOs out there. Youngblood, he is doing his best. The damage will be affecting him. Aitor Sintet Galindo trying to catch on Shady Ahmed, and he's probably thinking, why can't I get past? Shady's a man who, over the last few seasons, has been working his way up in terms of skill in these GTPs. He's worked really well now, and you think he's P4 in a field like this. It just goes to show just what you can do. Classic cars, it is a little bit of an equalizer for some drivers, and it just goes to show that you don't need all the time in the sim or all the iRacing just to hang with the big boys.
Indeed. These cars, yeah, you're right. They are quite an equalizer because everybody has to deal with the same power level in these machines. There's massive twin turbo engines that these cars have. Twin turbo on the Nissan, at least. I think the Audi might have a single turbo, but regardless, still feeds a lot of extra power in partway through the rev range, which means coming out of the hairpin, you know, you're just waiting for the power to come on. You know, it's lagging, then suddenly, there it goes.
And not also to mention as well, they've got almost ground effect downforce as well. These cars are planted. If you haven't had a chance to try these cars out, try it. I recommend it. It is a blast. More battles on the field as well, as David Finch trying to battle Matthew Cockerham, as well as they come down to start their lap 20. No chance at the moment you'll start to see that purple and green people eater is doing what he can around here. He's a man that's made up 3 places this race. Jack David Spickett, he didn't set a qualifying time. He's +9 for the day, and David Finch with Matthew Cockerham in front +3 for the day. I would only be able to get 3 overtakes in a race. I don't know how anyone could get 9 overtakes around here, Reese.
Hell, not everyone is Jack David Spickett, right?
Oh, no, exactly. Not everyone's Jack David Spickett.
Man, he honestly, I've seen him in Lotus 79s, and he's certainly a fantastic driver. No worries about making up positions for him. This is the incident that I was talking about earlier. So Pritchard hits the wall, and then Mukanos goes right into him. Unfortunately, the both of them with now heavy damage from that. I think Pritchard has retired from the race, or is at least taking repairs, but Mukanos is still out there with the Audi inline 5-cylinder getting some extra cooling now.
Yep, Fabian Youngblood. Yep, his day has gone from bad to worse. A little bit of a speed differential coming around turn 5 with Aitor Sintet Galindo, and he got on the throttle on the ridge on that corner, and unfortunately it did send him around into the wall. Too much power again. So that's the second time we've seen a GTP driver losing it on the hot pedal or the loud pedal. You did call that, Reese, to be fair, at the start of the race.
Yeah, exactly. Loud pedal is never a good idea in these cars, in the wrong place. This is what happened to Youngblood. So he just got crossed up over the bumps, over the curbs, and yeah, that's going to do it. Problem is, with that particular corner, you have to cut over the curbs for the optimum line, and I think he was used to the throttle application he was doing for that. A little bit wide, there's some extra bumps that you have to deal with. There's a little bit less grip because it's not the ideal racing line. So that's the issue that he's had to face. Cam Porter, well, he's looking focused, but his bonnet certainly isn't focused.
No, the bonnet's not focused. He's already -1. He lost the position to Johanny Kalmanen in front of him this race. Both of them looking like they have been in the wars. Seamus Power and Kevin Parris said that's a spun car. That's a lap down car as well, going across there, having a moment. Cam is struggling out there. I know it's not one of his favorite tracks. He's going to tell me it is after the race. I know it, but it's one of those tracks that he is struggling. He's in the battles, and is that going to be JDS coming by? Yes, JDS has put himself in this battle for P7 with Kevin Parrish and Seamus Power out of nowhere.
And our director pointing out that everyone has damage. Here is Noel Luneberg getting past Nicholas Mukanos there for P5 in the Audis. Yeah, I don't think there's a single car out there that doesn't have a dent on it somewhere, but I think Arturas Kundelis might be a contender for cleanest car in the field.
I'm knocking on wood as you say that, because we don't want to see any more issues like that. So we see Noel Lundberg going through. Here is Arturas there. I don't want to look at the car, but it is looking clean. It's looking mean. It's looking green. And he is still having Johan Van Hixie harass him. But right behind Johan, there is Mickey Friesen. And all of a sudden, he needs it. But David Fench will go quickly at David Fench. He looks to make the move onto Matthew Cockerham. He gets it done. Well, that's a clean car, if I have seen one. So we've got more than one clean car out there. And I will say, Reese, in the old days, I used to count how many cars still had wing mirrors with the damage model once upon a time.
Yes, indeed. Fortunately for these cars, the wing mirrors are almost always inboard of the outer edges of the car, particularly on the Audis. I mean, you see the silhouette of the Audi when approaching from front on. The track of that car is so wide, and looking at it was. Who was it? Mukanos. Looking at Mukanos's car with the bonnet removed, you can see just how wide those front tires are. It's amazing the grip that these cars generate.
It's amazing, especially back in those days, having tires that big on a road-going car. Remember, the Audi is a road-going version of the famous rally car, and it's just crazy to think they probably didn't even have tires that thick on the rally cars. And Mickey Friesen, it doesn't matter what size the tires are there, he has his box of neutrals. He's looking to push on, and getting to the back of this battle after the start he had has been just a fantastic showing. And all of a sudden, this, with 11 minutes to go, is turning into a three-car battle. The drivers had to be prepared for Mickey, but I don't think they expected it this late in the race. Does he have the tire advantage? Because these tires will be melting on a street circuit.
Yeah, they will. You know, the Audi having to make its way through the slow corners. It has less downforce at its disposal than the GTPs, so you're trying to scrub those tires as much as you can to get the car around the corner. Also, the four-wheel drive is a big factor too, as these rear-wheel drive GTPs, we've just seen a position change there. Hiroda now behind Aitor Sintes Galindo, top 3 for the number 13.
Yeah, Aitor Sintes Galindo into the top 3. There is Dustin Hiroda on board with him as he continues on. He's looking, he's got damage in the rear, and that's going to affect him. The wing isn't damaged, it's the rest of the car on the back that is damaged as he looks to fight on. Top speed will be affected, and they're going to try and make sure that Shady Ahmed right there, Brendan Lim right there, does not catch them as they come down Seaside Way for one more time, and then some others left to go. Another bookmarking there with Carlos Fonseca in front. And now he is in a battle for P4. And Kevin Parrish, he's currently in a battle with Seamus Power. Seamus looking to defend. I don't think he'll see another car. We've got it to traffic. It's traffic there with some lap GTOs. There's your traffic jam, Reese.
Oh, JDS as well. Just winding on a bit of extra lock there to get around the hairpin and get alongside. 10 minutes to go, and we'll make the move into turn 1 potentially. Spickett on the outside, having to make their way around GTOs, and he'll get the power down. Beautifully done.
Beautifully done as well, because he almost pick-moved himself on Noel Lundberg there for a moment, and that looked like it could have been disaster. He held on. Plus 11 from a man that always has a mistake in qualifying. That's not a call-out, Jack. It's unfortunate what happened, but he had managed to make it plus 11 on the day. He can make it plus 12 with Seamus Power just ahead, but Kevin's going to fight this. Can't get it this time. And there goes Kevin Parrish around, just being a bit too hot there.
Yeah, well, looks like not too bad of a hit, so he'll get it turned around and get it back going again, but he's fallen down to 9th spot. Fortunately for him, he has over 1 minute and 12 seconds to the next car. Actually, no, not 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's more like 30 seconds, but still, it's a huge gap around here. He won't be in any trouble of losing more positions unless he makes another mistake.
Yeah, again, let's knock on wood. Let's not hope that happens. Johan van Hixie getting held up there from lap traffic. Getting by. They've got Dustin Hiroda and Shady Ahmed right behind them. So battles for the podium being mixed up with battles for the top 3 in GTO. And this is where everyone starts to be a little bit more cautious, not trying to make those moves, even with 8 minutes to go. I tell you one thing I have noticed, though, fuel could be tight as Mickey Friesen goes by. If they go an extra lap, this could affect the GTO battle.
Yeah, certainly could. They'll have an opportunity to fuel save a little, having to make way for those GTPs, as Fabian Jungbluth is actually for position, is Fabian Jungbluth there. Overall position, I should say. He's running down in 15th in the GTP class and has a long way to go for a position in class, but yeah, getting mixed up for sure with the top 3 in GTO. All of that has given a slight advantage to Arturas Kundelis, so he'll be able to breathe easy for a couple extra laps. But what I've noticed is Johan van Hixen, he has managed to stay within slipstream range throughout the majority of the race since Kundelis passed him. And a couple of laps ago, like I say about 5 or 6 laps ago, actually tried to make a move in turn 1. So the battle's not over.
No, and that's quite a surprise, especially with the damage on the front. You'd think the aero would be down a little bit, but these cheese blocks are not giving way. So keep an eye on that with the final 7 minutes. Jack David Spickett, he's looking to make moves again, and he can't get it yet. He's just trying to squeeze through the GTO leaders and get past as well. Seamus Power needs to hold on to this. What a result this would be for Seamus, but JDS looking to find 12 at the best today, and he may get it if he can get past Seamus, laid on the brakes to get past Kundelis. Yeah, I reckon he may have this.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time, but there's not much time left in the race, less than 6.5 minutes. Shadi Ahmad still holding on to 5th place, but only just. Dustin Hiroda still dealing with that damage.
Still dealing with that damage. He is 10 kilometers an hour slower than Shady Ahmad. Yes, Ahmad is in the slipstream, but that just goes to show how much damage is being caused, almost sliding it through the fountain section there. When he gets back going, around they go one more time around here. Lap car there as well. Not capitalizing, compromising the corner there for Ahmad. Can't make it work. Ahmad gets a problem. Jack David Spickett doesn't get a problem. Still can't get past Seamus Power, however, though.
Yeah, this is proving to be a very tough customer as Seamus in the number 10, but JDS is getting a good run over this section of the circuit. Not many GTOs at inopportune times, so he's able to get clean runs through the turns, snatch a little bit of slipstream, and get a little bit closer by the time they get to the next corner. Now, we've got to keep an eye on his exit from the hairpin. This is going to be where the money is made. Nice wide turn in, straight out. He delayed getting on the power a little bit, so Seamus Power is going to have the power advantage.
Yeah, he's got the power, but just look at the slipstream for JDS. It would be a late move down out of Shoreline Drive. I don't think he's got it, but he's going to slide over just for the bait for 1 second. Now, is that bait going to cause an issue? It does not. So he holds on. Just makes you wonder, though, one mistake could have just helped him there. Continues on. There may be a chance down into Cat Turn at turn 6, but they've got lap traffic ahead. This may be a slight opportunity for JDS. Don't think he's going to go for it, though. In fact, he pulls to one side. Yeah, that's not a corner I expect him to see an overtake on.
No, it's all about the power application out of there. You see how much wider the road gets there, and it narrows right back up as you exit the right-hander here. They made their way past the GTO all right. JDS does have a slight run. Power is going to give him just enough room down the inside to make the move. They get so close to making contact. And there we go, round the outside. Ground effect in full effect for JDS. Power has to go wide. And is that going to be moved on? No, it's not.
The misshift. It's a misshift from Jack David Spickett. He's going to have to do it once again. JDS now, but he's up ahead. Cam Porter, a GTO, is going to hinder him. 3 minutes 40 to go. Won't do it this time. Have to get by Cam. Where's that hood gone? Last time we saw he had a dented hood. Now he's got rid of the hood. He's gone for some weight-saving straps there. We'll have to see what happened to him later as they continue on. You're not missing much in the GTO lead as well as they're all back together. But now Brendan Lim with a mistake. It's a 3-car battle. It was a 2-car battle for 7th. It's a 3-car battle for 6th.
Yeah, the silk cut Jaguar liveried machine is making its way around all right. So is Hugh Haycox in the simrigs.com DPR liveried machine. This is a very interesting lead that he has. It's now up to over 8 seconds. All he has to do is just manage his pace. He's got this down pat as long as he doesn't get into the wall.
Well, I'm going to knock on wood. I don't want to see that. We don't want to see anything like that. And we just wait on to see. There's only a few laps to go. I think he's going to have 2 laps after he crosses the line to go as Hugh Haycock just continues on. Jack David Spickett looks like he's going to try for a move. If he does it, have to do it around the outside of Seamus Power. And he tried it. He squeezed his way through. He found an opportunity. He's not going to do this. A little tap. He made this big. Did he just find the gap? If not, that's a needle in a haystack.
Oh my word, that was fantastic. Great respect being given by both of the drivers there, but JDS was assertive. He said, no, I'm going for this. You can either back out of it or we'll both crash.
I just can't believe he was looking at that move. I thought it was over before he got to the fountain. He found an opportunity to ride the curbing there and just get a little bit of a trim to the grass there. Regardless, Jack David Spickett is now 12 places up with 1:40 to go. That could be it. Hugh Haycox is halfway through his penultimate lap. The lead of the GTOs are getting closer as well. That gap's now under a second between Kundelis and Van Hixie. But I do wonder, Reese, is it a little too late?
Yeah, I think it might be too late. Honestly, the pace that Kundelis is holding on to in the GTO lead, it's almost insurmountable at the moment for Yoram. What he'll have to rely on is Arturas doing a miss shift. That's the only way he'll stand a chance of getting past. Slipstream is strong in these cars, so he'll be able to catch up a little bit down Shoreline Drive, but I honestly don't know if he'll be able to make the move from here. Well,
white flag was flown for Hugh Haycock in the background. This could be very tight. It looks like it's going to be the last lap for everybody here because the delta is about 7 seconds and he was 4 seconds behind the leaders. So this is going to look like the last lap for Van Hixie and Kundelis. That may change their mentality here, Reese.
Yeah, it may very well do. They might have to dial up the aggression here, and depending on where Haycox makes his way through, he could massively affect this battle.
Yeah, do they have enough fuel? I reckon they're going to be fine on fuel just because Haycock is reaching them now. And the fact there he is, he's 1 second behind Van Hixie and Kundelis. He knows this. Haycock is going to get past Van Hixie. Maybe not Kundelis right away.
Well, hang on. He's staying behind them.
No, he
doesn't want to interfere. He doesn't want to interfere. He's staying behind them. He's going to make him go an extra lap.
He's going to make to go for the lap. We'll have to see what he's doing. He is. That eliminates Mickey Friesen. Hugh Haycock is going to win in dominant fashion in the GTP, and he has left it now for Kundelis and Van Hixie. Do they have the fuel? I don't think they're expecting to go 32 laps here, Reese.
Yeah, I don't know. There was some discussion about fuel amongst the Audis before the race, but it looks like they're not saving anything. Arturas Kundelis and Joram Van Hixie still keeping an eye out here for Shadi Ahmad, who's trying his best to get back past Dustin Hirota. Man, there's battles going on everywhere you look, but the number 13 of Aitor Sintes Galindo is going to cross the line in third. Beautiful drive from Aitor there, up 5 spots. Fantastic stuff.
Fantastic racing as well. And now we see Shadi Ahmad get that very well-deserved 5th place. And now we just see coming down Seaside Way for the final time. Is there a move here for Johan van Hixie? He still has the speed. It'll have to be late braking, and he's going to try and do this around the outside. Are you kidding me? Johan van Hixie got around the outside of Firestone turn, and the outside becomes the inside through Indy, and now the inside becomes the outside. Around they come the final corner for the hairpin. There is still time. There's still time by 9. It's a drag race to the line. Johan van Hixie's got the run, and he gets it by the barest of margins.
Oh, that's, oh my, I can't form words right now. That was incredible. Drag race to the line. How do you like it? Arturas Kundelis, I think, is a bit unhappy with how that went down. I think he just slammed it into the wall in frustration there. Woo! Okay. God, who needs caffeine?
A drag race, while we get to the results just quickly, a drag race with the car who had the damage wins.
Wow.
Let's get to those results very quickly as we see the fountain. Hugh Haycox leads the battle there. He will win over Robert Nash in dominant fashion. And then it's Aitor Sintes Galindo who makes a good drive up the field, +5 to third position. Dustin Hirota will be 4th with that damage. Well driven there. Shadi Ahmad 5th. Brendan Lim will be 6th. Jack David Spickett +12 for the day. He will be 7th. Seamus Power 8th. Kevin Parrish will be 9th. And David Finch will be 10th. We start to see those drivers just a lap down. Matthew Cockerham as well. He went a lap down. Sorgen Henderson, he will be 12th, and then it's Peter Elarnison, also 13th, 1 lap down. Fabian Youngblood will go 2 laps down. I think he retired early. Andreas Felipe Diaz will be 4 laps down. Dylan Freckleton will be 6 laps down and 16th, and then the retirees with Tom Pritchard 16 laps down. Thomas Goodson 30 laps down. AJ Roper 31 laps down. Stephen Jones will also be 31 laps down. Michael Davis 32. David Quelez 32. And as we saw in the first lap, Javier Del Olmo retiring after the first lap. I think the GTO to go look pretty interesting, Reese.
Yep, Joram van Hixer. Look at that gap. 0.038 of a second. And Van Hixer was singing the praises of Hugh Haycox in the InSim text chat for giving him that extra lap. It allowed him to get it done. That was magnificent. Mickey Friesen finishing in 3rd place. And my lord, what a battle it was with Andres Schuster, Noah Luneberg, Nicholas Mukanos finishing with damage. Haycox, Ian Haycox finishing in 7th place, ahead of Juhani Kamanen, who I saw having some big damage early on, but still managed to get 8th place. Torben Paulik and Cam Porter rounding out the top 10 in the GTO class. Then we go to Pablo Rangel and Mark Gamek, one of many drivers that had issues early on. Saw him with damage in the pit lane. Fonseca, Powell, Russi, Kirk, Cloud, Bello, and Lozano all having problems themselves. Doug, Roman, and Elan were not able to get it even a couple of laps into the race.
Whew, I am trying to recover after that finish. That's one of the closest finishes we've seen around here at Long Beach for a while. We're just going to see if anyone will want to jump in and just say hello. I think a lot of them are just getting their voice back there. Any driver of the day for you, Reese, after that fantastic driving?
Van Hixer.
Straight up, Van Hixer. No,
yeah. I mean, it's difficult to pick though, because like Hugh Haycox, he just took control of the race in the GTPs, didn't he? And he led from start to finish. He was under no pressure at all. A perfectly managed race from him. I think it's a tale of 2 different races. Both of our class winners up for driver of the day for me.
Yeah, I would say that as well. I'd have to say Jack David Spickett doing that drive up the field was very impressive. And one of the things I find interesting, Reese, is you know how I said, "Oh, overtakes around the outside." We saw a couple overtakes around the outside of turn 1. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd see an overtake around the outside at the hairpin. So we talked about it. How tight is that hairpin again?
Yeah, ridiculously tight. I think it is the slowest corner on iRacing, full stop. And taking the wider line through there, I mean, yeah, you give up something in the middle of the corner, but on the exit, as Van Hixer demonstrated, you know, you get that outside line, you get the car straightened up a little earlier, and as long as you don't miss a gear, you've got the run.
Well, let's get to some interviews, and I know it's the man that's probably going to say I was wrong, but it's Cam Porter, who we didn't see what happened near the end of the race, but it was looking a very competitive race in the midfield for you, Cam. And then next time we saw you, you had no hood. Were you weight saving there?
Well, unfortunately, lap 2 or 3, I got caught up in incident at the fountain. There was a pile up ahead of me, and I couldn't avoid it. And I hit the guy ahead of me pretty much full, well, not quite full speed, but pretty hard. Spun him around, broke my car, and then Doug hit me from behind because he couldn't avoid the wreck either. It damaged my car. Thankfully, it was only aero damage. The car kept driving fine, despite the fact that both my front end and my back end was kind of beat up. And then that allowed Ian and whoever was behind me, I can't remember their name, catch me and pass me. And then near the end, there was a Nissan that had passed me on the front straight and then braked earlier than I normally do for turn 1. Gotta say, that took me by surprise. And I ended up going into the runoff area. So that lost me another position, despite the fact that I had more pace than that driver, Thorben Pollock. And by the end, I figured even if I was able to pass Thorben Pollock, he would just be able to pass me back because I was low on top speed. So kind of an unlucky race for me today.
Yeah, an unlucky race for you. A top 10. It sounds weird saying a top 10 is an unlucky race, but unfortunately, it's just the way it happened that day. Yeah, I think your face just said it all there. It's one of those, yeah, you should be happy with a top 10, but the way it happened, it's never good, but the way it happened, it brings me to the question, though, because this is the first time we've done Long Beach so many times now. This is the first time with this new iteration of the damage model. How does that, if anything, change your mentality driving around here? Because that pileup could have basically just ended your race like it ended 3 other drivers' race.
Yeah, I kind of expected for my engine to blow, because back in the day, before new damage model, if you damaged your front end, there was a pretty good chance that your engine would overheat and blow. So I'm surprised that didn't happen, considering the condition of my front end. You can see it on the replay there. But yeah, I was expecting my engine to go kaboom before the end of the race, and that didn't happen. And my car was driving normally, just my hood was flapping for most of the race until it finally fell off.
So that's what happened to it. Yeah, we did see the hood bouncing about, but I never saw it fall off. That must have been quite scary. I mean, next week it could be scary if you lose that hood. We're at Le Mans. It's historic. What are your thoughts going into that?
Unfortunately, I had a kind of a lifestyle change where I normally I'm now working on Saturday and Sunday, but I was feeling under the weather this week, so kind of took the day off, and that allowed me to race today. So I might not make Le Mans next week, so best of luck to the guys that race, though.
Best of the luck. That sounds like words of encouragement and words of good luck. You're going to need it. It is going to be a wild race like it has been today. Cam, commiserations on the top 10. Thankfully, no damage after having a blind look with a bonnet in your head for a while. But all the best for when we will see you later, because that is going to be Cam Porter in 10th position today in the GTOs. And we do have one more interview. Reese has managed to find himself alongside P3 in the GTPs, Aitor Sintez Galindo.
Yeah, man, that was an incredible race from you, Aitor. 5 positions gained in the end, but it certainly didn't come easy. It looked like a matter of survival out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty much the modus operandi in Camel. I mean, IMSA Vintage always try to survive, especially in these tracks where urban tracks. But yeah, very happy with the result. P3 podium finish, lots of points, lots of ride rating, lots of safety rating actually, because I actually needed that. Yeah, very happy with the result. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, as you should be. It didn't come easy though, especially working your way through the traffic. Obviously, the fountain section was the worst when it came to trying to pass the Audis. So, what kinds of strategies were you using to make your way past them?
Well, it depends a lot on the fact that you are fighting for position or not, because most of the time, if you are like on your own, you can just take it easy and try to not to send it into the next corner. But sometimes when you're fighting, you're like, I should send it, or otherwise I'll lose 3-4 seconds. This is how in long Beach work, basically. You have to wait for entire section, 2 sections in fact, first and third one, and basically you have to pray to this, like, oh please, no Audis on this section, or risk it, or lose the entire race. But well, if you have experience, you can get through it. But yeah, most of the time it's basically luck.
Yeah, well, a lot of luck fell your way today. 3rd place in the end. And, well, I'll mirror Scully and ask you about next week. Le Mans, of course, the classic layout with a very long straight. So at least making your way past the Audis is going to be a bit easier next week.
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, yes, it will be much easier to pass on that track. Unfortunately, it's the historic layout, meaning that we'll have to be 30-40 seconds of full throttle. And the problem with the Nissan is basically, on the Audi as well, that they drag a lot, and past the 200 miles an hour, it doesn't go over that. It doesn't overspeed. So you're gonna watch an entire train of a draft train, more like Talladega, Daytona or something. I don't find it fun. I'm not gonna lie. But I think that maybe we can find some pace, and I mean, my teammate will always have a very good setup for that, because he likes low downforce tracks. So yeah, looking forward for a good result next week.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Aitor, for joining us, and yeah, hopefully we get another chance to chat to you in the booth.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the broadcast. Yeah, see you next week on Le Mans.
Indeed, Aitor Sintes Galindo with a fantastic 3rd place finish here. And, well, I think that's going to close things off for tonight, Craig. My goodness, what an event that was.
What an event. And I think that is all she wrote today. So we're going to call it a night. We're going to call it a Saturday night. And I'm going to thanks to the team. I'm going to go thanks to Reese, to Daniel, and to Dougie. Now make sure to check out our social media, our website, and our merchandise store, and of course Jules Lalonde's Bandcamp, as I always like to plug. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you do not miss another moment on GSRC like you saw tonight. Next race will be Le Mans Historic next Saturday, July 27th, 1 p.m. Eastern, and across the screen you've been seeing a list of the other races that we will be bringing you in the upcoming week. We hope you enjoyed joining us tonight, and we hope you enjoyed the racing. We love giving it to you. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we will see you on the track.